There is a subtle rhythm that hums beneath the surface of existence, a pulse that guides the ebb and flow of all things. It exists imperceptible to most beneath the layers of time, space, and matter. Yet, to those who are tuned to it, it reveals itself in profound ways. It is the cosmic law, a law that governs not just the stars in their eternal dance, but the very essence of life itself. This law is invisible like gravity, a force that shapes us without our conscious understanding. The problem, however, lies in the fact that many of us living in this complex web of human experience are unaware of how we are bound by this force. We exist within its framework, but we do not truly see it, nor do we recognize when we break its sacred rules. It is like being a leaf drifting gently along a river, unaware that the river's course has already been determined by a much grander force. And in this oblivion, we break the cosmic law daily without realizing it, without knowing the damage it does to our inner landscape. It is not a law of punishment or restriction, but rather one of alignment and flow. The cosmic law is not some external judge or overseer. It is a reflection of the truth that lies beneath all illusion. It operates like the laws of nature, silent yet omnipresent, steering the very fabric of reality into balance. Yet, in our modern world, we have become accustomed to ignoring this law. We live in a state of distraction, constantly at odds with the natural rhythms of the universe, breaking the most fundamental of truths without even the slightest awareness. This is not a new phenomenon. It has been unfolding since the dawn of human consciousness. Imagine a clock with a mechanism that only operates in perfect harmony when each gear is properly aligned. When one gear slips out of place, the entire system stutters. Similarly, when we break the cosmic law, there is a disruption in the flow of our lives. A disharmony enters subtle at first, but growing with each transgression. It is like the sensation of a lingering ache, a quiet discomfort, a gnawing feeling that something is amiss. The great irony, however, is that we often fail to realize this dissonance until it manifests in more apparent ways. Stress, illness, confusion, dissatisfaction. It is as though the universe is trying to whisper a message to us, but we are too deafened by the noise of modern life to hear it. But what exactly is this cosmic law? How do we break it? And more importantly, how can we begin to mend the fabric of our reality by returning to its flow? These are the questions that lie at the heart of our exploration. For what we are about to uncover is not simply a rule or a set of instructions. It is a grand universal truth. A truth that has been known to the sages of ancient times, yet forgotten by the masses. It is a truth that has the power to transform our understanding of reality itself. This law does not reside in the outer world. It exists within the inner sanctum of our being. It is a law of consciousness, an ancient wisdom that speaks directly to the very core of who we are, beyond the transient identities and labels we cling to. When we break this law, we fracture our connection to the deeper currents of life, to the very force that binds the universe together. We fall into a state of fragmentation, disconnected from the divine flow. But when we align with this law, we begin to feel the rush of vitality, clarity, and peace that comes from living in harmony with the cosmos. In the coming sections, we will explore what it means to break this law, how we do it unknowingly, and what it costs us in the process. We will look at the ways in which our modern lives have distanced us from the ancient wisdom that once connected us to the universe in profound ways. And we will delve into how we can begin to change, to realign ourselves with this eternal truth, and in doing so transform not only our individual lives, but also the world around us. For now, as you stand on the threshold of this journey, consider this. The cosmic law is not something separate from you. It is woven into the very fabric of your being. It is the silent guide that has always been there waiting for you to remember. And perhaps, just perhaps now is the time to listen. The cosmic law is a vast, all-encompassing force, one that transcends the linearity of time and the rigidity of the physical realm. It is not something that can be grasped with the mind alone, for it exists beyond the confines of intellect and perception. To understand it requires a deep dive into the essence of what is real, what is true, and what lies hidden beneath the surface of ordinary existence. It is a truth that speaks to the heart, to the soul, and to the very essence of consciousness itself. At its core, the cosmic law is a law of unity. It is the recognition that everything in existence is interconnected, that the seemingly disparate elements of the universe are woven together by invisible threads. Every action, every thought, every decision ripples outward, affecting the web of life in ways we may never fully understand. To break the law, then, is to sever these connections, to fracture the delicate balance of the universe. It is to act in a way that disregards the interrelatedness of all things, to live as though we are separate from the whole, isolated in our individual bubbles of perception. This is the first core concept of the cosmic law unity. The ancient wisdom traditions, from the Hermetic teachings to the Vedic scriptures, have long emphasized the idea of interconnectedness. The Hermetic axiom, as above so below, as within so without, captures this principle perfectly. What happens on one level of reality, whether it be the mind, the body, or the cosmos, has a direct impact on all other levels. To live in alignment with the cosmic law, then, is to recognize and honor this unity, to see oneself as part of the greater whole, to understand that one's actions ripple out into the fabric of existence. The second core theme is balance. The universe is constantly in motion, constantly shifting, yet it does so with an underlying harmony. The cosmic law works through cycles, rhythms, and patterns that maintain equilibrium. There is a time for creation and a time for destruction, a time for action and a time for rest. The problem arises when we fall out of sync with these natural rhythms. In our pursuit of control, power, or success, we often push against the flow of the universe, disrupting the delicate balance that holds everything together. We forget that life is not about forcing things to happen, but about allowing them to unfold in their own time, in their own way. Balance is the key to everything. The seasons change, the tides ebb and flow, the sun rises and sets, and all things return to their origin. In the same way, our lives too follow these natural rhythms. When we resist them, when we act out of alignment with the cosmic flow, we disrupt the balance of our lives. Stress, anxiety, illness, and conflict are the results of this imbalance. The cosmic law calls us to embrace the natural flow, to surrender to the rhythms of life, and to find harmony within the chaos. The third core theme is intention. The law is not concerned with what we do, but with how and why we do it. The universe responds to the energy we put out, to the vibrations that we emit through our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Our intentions shape the course of our lives, for they are the seeds from which our experiences grow. When we break the cosmic law, we often do so by acting with unconscious or misguided intentions. We may seek power, validation, or material gain, but in doing so, we are disconnected from the deeper, more profound purpose of our existence. True alignment with the law comes from a place of clarity and purpose, where our actions are guided by a sense of higher truth and a desire to serve the greater good. Intention is the compass that guides us through life, the beacon that points us toward our true path. To break the law is to wander aimlessly, driven by unconscious desires and external pressures. But when we align our intentions with the deeper truths of the universe, we begin to move with purpose, flowing effortlessly toward our highest potential. It is not enough to simply go through the motions of life. We must cultivate awareness of our intentions and let them guide us toward a life of meaning and fulfillment. The fourth and final core theme of the cosmic law is surrender. This is perhaps the most difficult concept to grasp in our modern world, where we are taught that control is the key to success. Yet surrender is not about weakness or passivity. It is about trusting in the greater flow of life and letting go of the need to control every aspect of our reality. It is about releasing the ego's tight grip and allowing the universe to guide us toward our highest good. When we surrender, we open ourselves to the infinite possibilities of the universe. We stop forcing outcomes, and instead, we allow things to unfold in their own time. We stop resisting change, and instead, we embrace it as an inevitable and necessary part of life. Surrender is the ultimate act of faith, the recognition that we are not in control, but that there is a greater intelligence at work, one that knows far more than our limited human minds could ever comprehend. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means giving in to the flow of the universe. It means letting go of the need to control every outcome and trusting that in doing so, we will be led exactly where we need to be. When we break the cosmic law, it is often because we are fighting against this flow, clinging to our illusions of control and resisting the natural course of things. The cosmic law, in its most fundamental essence, is about unity, balance, intention, and surrender. These four principles weave together to form the foundation of a life lived in alignment with the universe. When we break this law, we disrupt the very fabric of reality itself, causing harm not just to ourselves, but to the world around us. But when we align ourselves with these principles, we begin to live in harmony with the cosmos, flowing effortlessly with the rhythms of life and becoming conduits for the divine energy that shapes all things. To truly understand the cosmic law we are discussing, it is essential to step beyond the realm of abstract concepts and enter into the world of symbolism and metaphor. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, often speaks to us not in words, but in images, symbols, and stories that reveal deeper truths about the nature of existence. Throughout history, allegories have been used to convey profound spiritual lessons, offering glimpses of a reality far more intricate and interconnected than the material world we see before us. These symbolic narratives carry the weight of ancient wisdom and invite us to look beyond the surface of our everyday lives. Consider the story of the butterfly. It begins as a small, unremarkable caterpillar crawling along a single branch of a tree. The caterpillar, focused only on its immediate surroundings, seems trapped in the narrow confines of its world. It moves slowly, methodically, unaware of the vast, sprawling landscape that lies beyond its limited perspective. But one day it spins itself into a cocoon, retreating into a world of darkness and silence. Inside that cocoon, the caterpillar begins its incredible transformation, breaking free from the very structure of its former existence. The chrysalis that once held it captive now becomes the vessel of its rebirth, and what emerges from that dark cocoon is a creature of incredible grace and beauty, a butterfly. The butterfly's journey symbolizes the very essence of the cosmic law. In the caterpillar's limited vision, it does not see the transformation that is underway. It is only through surrender, through entering the darkness of the cocoon, that it can become something entirely new. In the same way, our lives often move in circles, limited by the constraints of our individual perceptions. We are the caterpillar, unaware of the broader reality that surrounds us. Only by surrendering to the process, by entering the unknown, do we have the opportunity to undergo our own metamorphosis. When we resist change, when we cling to our familiar patterns, we break the law of unity, disrupting the flow of our natural evolution. Another symbolic narrative that illustrates the breaking of the cosmic law is the story of the Tower of Babel. In this ancient tale, the people of the earth, united in purpose and ambition, set out to build a tower that reached to the heavens. It was an act of pride and defiance, a desire to transcend the natural limits of human existence. The people believed that by reaching the heavens, they could become like the gods, masters of their own fate. But as they built their tower higher and higher, the divine force intervened, scattering them across the earth and confusing their languages. The tower, which once symbolized unity, now stood as a testament to human arrogance and the consequences of breaking the cosmic law. The Tower of Babel is a powerful metaphor for the dangers of disconnecting from the natural order, of believing that we can impose our will upon the universe without understanding its deeper truths. The people of Babel sought to force their way into the divine realm to control the very fabric of existence. In doing so, they forgot that the law of the universe operates through humility, balance, and unity, not through dominance or pride. When we break this law, we experience fragmentation, confusion, and disconnection, just as the people of Babel did. The key to unlocking the cosmic law lies not in striving for control, but in recognizing our place within the grand design. The myth of the phoenix offers another symbolic narrative that sheds light on the cosmic law. The phoenix, a legendary bird of fire, is said to rise from its own ashes, reborn after a cycle of death and destruction. Its flames symbolize transformation and renewal, an endless cycle of destruction and creation that mirrors the rhythms of the universe. The phoenix, in its cyclical nature, embodies the law of balance, surrender, and regeneration. It is a reminder that life is not a linear journey, but a series of cycles, each one building upon the last. To break the cosmic law is to resist this cyclical flow, to attempt to skip over the inevitable stages of death and rebirth. But when we align with the natural cycles of life, we too can rise from the ashes transformed and renewed. The Phoenix story also speaks to the power of transformation. It reminds us that every ending is a beginning and that even in our darkest moments there is the potential for renewal. When we break the cosmic law, we resist this process of transformation, attempting to hold on to old ways of being, old identities and old patterns that no longer serve us. But by embracing change, by surrendering to the natural flow of life, we allow ourselves to be reborn, to shed our old skin and emerge as something greater. The phoenix is the ultimate symbol of the cosmic law in action, demonstrating how destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin eternally interwoven in the fabric of existence. These symbolic stories, each one a reflection of the deeper truths of the universe, offer us insights into the nature of the cosmic law and the consequences of breaking it. The caterpillar's metamorphosis, the Tower of Babel's fall, and the phoenix's rebirth all point to the same central theme, the law of unity, balance, and surrender. When we align ourselves with this law, we are transformed in profound ways, experiencing growth, healing, and renewal. But when we resist it, when we act out of pride, fear, or ignorance, we disrupt the flow of our lives, causing fragmentation, confusion, and suffering. The wisdom embedded in these stories is not just ancient mythology. It is a universal truth that transcends time and space. These narratives are mirrors reflecting our own struggles, our own triumphs, and our own potential for transformation. By understanding the deeper meanings behind these symbols, we can begin to recognize how we too are breaking the cosmic law in our daily lives, and how we can realign ourselves with its eternal flow. Having explored the cosmic law through symbols and allegories, it's time to bring this understanding into the realm of daily life, where the invisible threads of the universe can be felt through our actions, thoughts, and relationships. To live in alignment with the cosmic law is not simply an abstract spiritual practice. It requires integration, a conscious choice to embody these principles in every moment of our existence. The challenges we face, the struggles that seem so mundane, are often direct reflections of how we are out of sync with the deeper cosmic truths. It is only by recognizing this that we can begin to reclaim our lives and restore the harmony we are meant to experience. When we speak of unity, the first practical implication is the realization that we are not isolated beings, separate from the world around us. In fact, every moment we spend in our own self-contained bubble of experience, the bubble that is influenced by our personal biases, beliefs, and desires, we are in effect breaking the cosmic law of unity. In our daily interactions, from the simplest exchanges to the most complex relationships, we create connections or we sever them. It's a constant dance between the desire for individuality and the need for connection. But when we forget the interconnectedness of all things, we find ourselves in conflict. We argue, we misunderstand, we harm others, and often unknowingly we harm ourselves. In the workplace, this principle is particularly poignant. Think about the hierarchical structures, the competition, the striving for recognition, and the clash of egos. These are not just random events. They are manifestations of our collective forgetting of the law of unity. When we operate from a mindset that places our interests above others, when we act out of self-centered ambition, we break the fundamental law of connection. Yet when we begin to recognize that every individual we interact with is in some way a reflection of ourselves, everything changes. We become more empathetic, more patient, more understanding. The realization that we are part of a larger whole can shift how we communicate, collaborate, and even compete. A clear example of the power of unity in practical terms can be found in the act of listening. Listening, truly listening, not just hearing words, but connecting with the emotions, the unspoken thoughts, the energy behind them, is one of the simplest yet most profound acts of acknowledging unity. When we listen without judgment, without the need to respond immediately, we step out of our ego's demands and enter the flow of connection. We stop fighting against the current and instead allow it to guide us. In relationships, whether personal or professional, this kind of listening can break down barriers, heal wounds, and forge deep bonds that are otherwise impossible to create in the noise of self-centered conversation. Balance, too, has its real-world implications. In our modern world, we are constantly pulled in multiple directions. The demands of work, family, social media, and personal desires often leave us feeling torn, fragmented. We become so engrossed in the pursuit of success, validation, and achievement that we lose sight of the natural rhythms that keep us grounded. The balance of life is not merely about achieving a perfect equilibrium. It is about being in tune with the natural cycles of the universe and our own internal cycles. Our body requires rest as much as it requires movement. Our minds require stillness as much as they require activity. Yet so often we push ourselves beyond our limits, ignoring the signals of fatigue, stress, and overwhelm. Take, for example, the simple act of sleep. It is often the most neglected aspect of modern life, viewed as a luxury rather than a necessity. And yet it is in sleep that we reconnect with the rhythms of life. It is when we rest that our bodies regenerate, our minds process, and our spirits recharge. The imbalance that arises from neglecting rest is a direct violation of the cosmic law. Our bodies, the physical vessels through which we experience the world, are part of the larger natural flow. When we overwork them, we disrupt the delicate harmony that sustains us. By learning to balance our energy, to listen to the subtle cues of fatigue and nourishment, we begin to restore this flow. Intention in its deepest form is the driving force behind everything we create in our lives. Every thought, every word, every action is fueled by intention, whether we are conscious of it or not. The modern world teaches us to act impulsively, to respond out of habit or emotion without stopping to reflect on the deeper reasons behind our actions. But when we pause and examine our intentions, we begin to see that we are not just reacting to life, we are shaping it. Our intentions create our reality. They determine the experiences we attract, the relationships we form, and the outcomes we manifest. In practical terms, intention requires us to become aware of the deeper motivations behind our actions. Are we acting out of fear, desperation, or need for approval? Or are we acting from a place of love, authenticity, and service to the greater good? The moment we recognize that our intentions shape the course of our lives, we begin to approach every decision with mindfulness. Whether it is a career move, a personal relationship, or a small daily action, we begin to ask ourselves, what is my intention here? Is it aligned with the highest good of all involved? A powerful example of the role of intention can be found in the way we approach challenges. When we face difficulties, our first impulse is often to react with frustration, resistance, or anger. But when we approach these challenges with intention, we shift the energy. Instead of reacting, we choose how we respond. We ask ourselves, what is the greater lesson here? How can I transform this obstacle into an opportunity for growth? This shift in perspective is transformative. It changes how we perceive the world and how we interact with it. When we act with intention, we align ourselves with the flow of the universe, and the universe responds by bringing us into harmony. Lastly, surrender, perhaps the most challenging of all the cosmic law's principles, has its deepest implications in the way we relate to the world and the outcomes of our actions. The human tendency to control, to grasp, to force things to happen is a fundamental part of the ego's desire to shape the world according to its will. But in reality, control is an illusion. The more we try to force outcomes, the more we break the balance of the cosmic law. True surrender is the willingness to let go of the need to control every detail and trust that the universe has a plan far grander than our own limited vision. In practical terms, surrender can be seen in moments of deep crisis or uncertainty. When we are faced with the unknown, with fear, or with loss, we are forced to choose. Do we continue to fight against the current, or do we release our grip and allow ourselves to be carried? Surrender is not about inaction or passivity. It is about trust. It is the trust that in the end, everything is unfolding as it should. In letting go, we make space for something greater to emerge. This is the paradox. By surrendering, we take control of our lives in the most profound and meaningful way. As we stand at the threshold of understanding, having explored the cosmic law through allegory, principle, and practical integration, we are faced with a profound realization. The law is not an abstract idea, nor is it something external to us. It is the very fabric of reality woven into the threads of our being and the universe itself. It governs not just the celestial bodies that swirl above us, but the thoughts, actions, and energies that move within us. To break this law is to fracture the delicate balance of our lives. To live in alignment with it is to flow with the current of the cosmos, experiencing a life that is more harmonious, more fulfilling, and more connected to the deeper truths of existence. But this is not a call for passive observation. This is a call to action. It is a call to transform. The recognition of the cosmic law's presence is the first step, but it is only through active engagement that we can begin to realign ourselves with the divine flow. We must look deeply within and ask ourselves, in what ways am I breaking the law? In what areas of my life have I disconnected from the unity of all things, from the balance of nature, from the sacred intention that should guide every thought and action? It is only through such self-reflection that we can begin to shift to bring our lives back into alignment with the greater cosmic order. The transformation does not require grand gestures, nor does it demand that we abandon the world we know. It requires only that we begin to see the world as it truly is, a unified field of energy, of interconnectedness, where every action has a ripple effect that reverberates through the whole. Every thought we think, every word we speak, every choice we make sends out vibrations into the universe. When we recognize this, when we truly see the interconnectedness of all things, we begin to live with greater intention, greater awareness, and greater responsibility. We become co-creators with the universe, working in harmony with the divine flow rather than against it. The journey of transformation is not always easy. The ego resists, the mind seeks certainty, and the distractions of modern life can easily pull us away from the path of true alignment. But the rewards are immeasurable. As we begin to honor the cosmic law, as we begin to realign ourselves with unity, balance, intention, and surrender, we find that our lives begin to change in ways we could never have imagined. The struggles that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve. The confusion, the frustration, the sense of disconnection fade into the background, replaced by clarity, peace, and a deep sense of purpose. We begin to experience life not as a series of disconnected events, but as a grand symphony, each note playing its part, each moment unfolding in perfect harmony. The people we meet, the challenges we face, the opportunities that arise, all of these become part of the cosmic dance orchestrated by the deeper wisdom of the universe. We no longer feel like passive spectators in our own lives. We become active participants, flowing with the rhythm of the cosmos, aligned with its deepest truths. The key to transformation lies in our willingness to surrender. Surrender is not a giving up. It is a letting go. It is the realization that we are not in control, but that there is a greater intelligence at work, one that knows far more than our human minds can comprehend. It is in surrendering our need to control every outcome that we open ourselves to the infinite possibilities of the universe. When we stop fighting against the current, we begin to flow with it. And in this flow, we find that we are carried to the exact place we need to be at exactly the right time. This is the invitation to realign with the cosmic law, to reconnect with the deeper truths of existence, and to live in a way that honors the unity of all things. It is a call to remember who we truly are, not as isolated beings, but as integral parts of a grand, interconnected whole. It is a call to step into our power, to recognize that we are not victims of circumstance, but co-creators of our reality. And it is a call to trust in the flow of life, to surrender to the natural rhythms of the universe, and to embrace the transformation that is already underway within us. In this moment, ask yourself, how can I bring my life into alignment with the cosmic law? How can I live with more unity, balance, intention, and surrender? The answers are not outside of you, they are within. The cosmic law is not a foreign concept, but a reflection of the deepest truth of who you are. To break the law is to live in separation and conflict with the flow of life. But to align with it is to experience life as a seamless, harmonious whole, a journey of constant growth, transformation, and divine connection. Now is the time. Now is the moment to step into your true power, to embrace the law that governs all things, and to begin living a life that is in perfect harmony with the universe. The path is before you. The choice is yours. Will you align with the cosmic law, or will you continue to break it? The transformation begins with you. And so we close this exploration, but the journey has only just begun. The choice to live in alignment with the cosmic law is yours. Will you heed the call? If you felt a profound shift in your mind and heart after exploring the mysteries of the universe, don't miss out on the chance to continue this journey with us. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on the Mystic Vault channel today, so you never miss the next captivating video that delves even deeper into the hidden secrets of the universe, awakening consciousness and expanding your understanding of the metaphysical world. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Leave a positive comment below the video. Share your insights and feelings about the topics we've just uncovered. Together, we will build a community that continually seeks the truth, enlightenment, and deeper understanding of the hidden laws of the universe. With every subscription, every share, you're not just becoming a part of Mystic Vault. You're helping to amplify the power of ancient knowledge and spreading it to every corner of the world. Join the awakening journey now and leave your mark in this ever-growing community. Mystic Vault, where space and time are explored and you awaken your infinite potential.